So with that, I think we can actually move on to our number 3 team, and that is actually going to be Hunter and his Seattle Salamanders. Um, and what can we say about Hunter's team? If you want to say stuff.
Well, he has Mega Latius. That's a start.
That's all you need. Yeah, that's all you need.
You said that you just draft 11 random. You should win, right?
Yeah, they're pretty much just a Mega Latios and then, fillers.
Yeah, my draft plan going into it was get Mega Latios and Scolipede because not a lot can stop that, and then maybe draft one more threat and just bulk.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what you did, because you have Staraptor after that, and then bulk. And I also like that you have a triple Intimidate if you want to go with Intimidate on Staraptor, because you have the Luxray and the Scrafty. So that's even more bulk. You have the Porygon 2, the Hippowdon, obviously the Rotom Heat, the Sylveon, which can even just Wish Pass into your bulkier mons that can't heal themselves. Gourgeist, which can be any size it wants, and it also can just heal up if it wants to, and Will-O-Wisp. And then the other thing is that your hazards, being Empoleon, Hippowdon, and Scolipede, they're also Empoleon and Hippowdon are also very bulky as well. And then you have some removal with Rotom and Empoleon, which it may not be too much, but they're very reliable at just removing hazards.
And along with that, Mega Latias and Staraptor both also get defog.
Yeah, those guys can also remove hazards. So I'm just assuming that you might not always want to run Defog on Latias, but you can definitely run it for sure.
Definitely wouldn't, but
yeah.
I mean that's why you have a Rotom Heat.
Yeah.
Or Empoleon or whatever. But
yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I will admit my speed tiers are a little bad. Scolipede is one of the fastest mons, and then you got 110 Latias, then base 100 Staraptor, fastest after that would be 99 with the small Gourgeist, and it kind of just goes down steadily from there.
What's Luxray's speed?
70.
Oh, 70. Okay. I mean, it's still good. It can still be a choice Scarfer and still outspeed a lot of things.
Yeah.
So,
Scarf Wild Charge or something like that.
Volt Switch.
It's kind of exactly what I ran last week, but...
Oh, wow. Well, I do like the team, though. It does have the support for Latios.
Yeah, just saying, other than Sylveon and Scrafty, you don't have the best switch into a Dark type if it comes in on Latias.
I was gonna say the same thing. And Scrafty is there to kind of 4 times resist fighting. Dark. But at the same time, Dark types could get coverage for Scrafty if they have Fairy coverage. So
yeah, solid knockoff is the only thing I'm really worried on this team for.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If the Dark type switches in Latias, what do you bring in other than Scrafty maybe for knockoff, right?
Yeah.
But that's pretty much the same. The knockoff is just such a good move that there's no really good switch-ins to it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Culver might end up happening on Gourgeist for a lot of the times, or Sylveon could always come in and be defensive and then just Hyper Voice.
Or just a Z user for the less damage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can always just run a Z move on things. Scolipede is a gigantic threat as well.
Scrafty is a sleeper pick, I find. Because I did run the Scrafty in ABT, actually, the Ubers League. And it was the times that I did bring it, oh my god, it was such a good Monarch. You got good
I personally
abilities.
love Scrafty.
Yeah, you got good abilities. You have access to Dragon Dance. You can bring it bulky.
Mm-hmm.
You can bring an assault vest. I love it. I love that mon.
I think, well, Dark and Fighting is just a very nice offensive typing.
Because
Unfortunately,
obviously,
it's weak
you're
to
you're
fairy.
immune to Psychic, but
Yeah,
you're 4 times weak to Fairy. But
Yeah.
it does get the poison jab. So
exactly.
uh,
But
if you're able to set up a D-Dancer too,
mhm.
I mean, yeah, it's
I think
dangerous.
it's almost like a discount Incineroar in a way, just because you get the Intimidate and you have the knockoff, and but you do have the added bonus of being a fighting type instead.
It was my backup to Incineroar.
Yeah.
Because you can, if you set up 2 Dragon Dance, you got the Moxie or Intimidate or even Shed Skin, right? You got a Shed Skin ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that mon. It's a
Yeah,
sleeper.
when
I
I-
find
When I drafted it, it was like I drafted my first 4 mons that I knew I wanted: Mega Latias and that bulky core of Sylveon and Poleon and Porygon 2. And I knew I needed the knockoff absorber or just dark type absorber, and Scrafty was like the first thing.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, Scrafty is just a very solid pick. It's just a bulky mon that you can even run it with Assault Vest or like a choice band if you want to go that route too. It's so bulky that I think in some cases it can actually even live a fairy type move.
But it's all
That
yeah.
it can, yeah. Assault Vest with
It's
its
maybe
like,
not a
base
play rough,
110
but other than that,
Yeah.
special defense.
because not much else wants to eat a dark type move, like maybe Scolipede if you have the Z Crystal. But other than that, it kind of hurts.
Yeah. You do have to be wary about Dragon Dancing Scrafty though.
Yeah, for sure.
Otherwise I do like your pivoting options. You have Luxray and Rotom and Staraptor, which they'll come in and they'll hit very hard, and then just and then you can just safely bring in your Latias or your Scolipede or even your Sylveon can Baton Pass. So I do like the option that you have with Momentum there, and then your Rocks. I'm not too sure how Sand could benefit you if you want to run Sand, of course, but it does look like a nice option.
I definitely did not plan around getting Hippowdon. I originally wanted Mammoth, that got sniped. Wanted Kirk, that got sniped.
Well,
Wanted Donphan,
the one
that
thing I
got
can
sniped.
say on that point, is I kind of wanted Stoutland. So my tier 5 was Stoutland or Avalon, right? And I told Eagle, I'm like, when it's my turn, just pick one. And he picked Avalon. And I was kind of happy he picked Avalon because it gives me the Ice type and the spin and whatnot. But I can see Stoutland being better in Lux right here.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's available, so I don't know if you want to go that route.
Yeah.
But
I
It's
can
just
see
that
that.
third normal type.
Yeah, to be honest, I could see that.
yeah, you already have a normal type, but at the same time, Stoutland does not do the same job at all as Porygon 2.
Or Staraptor, yeah.
The Raptor. Yeah.
Oh, you have the Raptor as well, but normal type doesn't have many weaknesses. You cover fighting well with
With
Mega
Gorgeist
Latias,
and Sylveon.
Gorgeist, Colipede, Sylveon.
Sylveon. I do like the Stoutland option because obviously if you need a backup late game sweeper and you have Sand.
Because you have the Sand already, so why not, right?
Yeah.
It's not bad for sure. I mean, you have the 4 free agency, so you can do whatever you need with them.
Yeah.
But now that you did mention it, I did see the 4 weaknesses, or it's the 3 weaknesses to fighting, which again you have covered because you have so much bulk. It's not even
He has
an issue.
Excellent. Like Scolipede resists, you got Sylveon resist, Mega Latias will obviously resist.
And Hippowdon is just so fat.
Yeah, Bowdown and Gorgeist takes the fighting. Or is it immune to fighting? I don't know. And you also have, for fighting moves, you have 3 Intimidate users, so...
Yeah, I think you have all your cores, honestly. It's really hard to see. I mean, you don't have a grass type. Oh no, you
I have
do. You have the
Gorgeist.
Gorgeist. Yeah, I keep forgetting that. So you really do have just all your core set, and that's pretty much all you really need to have a balanced and synergetic squad.
And the only thing I can see is your Powdown might be a problem, but you didn't have a choice because there was no more ground types left.
I mean, Eagle graciously traded it to me.
Because Powdown is obviously he's not going to come every week, and when he doesn't come, you're kind of vulnerable to Volt Switch, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, you do eat it with the Mega Latias and the Ronan Heat, but it still gives
types. Yeah.
Yeah, it does give the other player some momentum because you can't really stop it without the Powdown.
That's true. What I do like about Luxray being as slow as it is that it'll come in and intimidate whatever it needs to, and then as your opponent switches out, obviously you can just slow bull switch. Yeah. So it's not.
It's one thing I really liked.
So Luxray isn't that bad in that case. I couldn't find too much of a niche to kind of add it. Whenever I needed an electric type, Luxray always looked amazing. I didn't know how to make it work. And obviously it gets a lot of coverage, which with OpenZ, I think you told me, like, it makes it very very effective against certain foes.
But me, again, personally, I just like the Stoutland better here, but that's just me, right? If you like the Luxray, by all means, keep it,
Stoutland,
I don't know.
I mean, it's tough because you have like the option of running a choice band Stoutland in the sand, and it kind of makes it so that you can just use it to break down your opponent. But it's up to Hunter. Obviously, he already has a normal type, so.
Oh yeah, for sure, it's up to him. But for me, like, you have the sand, why not just use it, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. Me and my tier 5 electric types.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you want to keep the Luxray, like I said, by all means, it's a good team, it's a good squad. There's no problem with it. It's just maybe an added thing that I can say.
Yeah,
really.
That's the one change that I could see on my team working out.
Yeah. Because Rodan Heat, I'm a big fan of Rodan Heat. It's a good mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Empoleon is great. You got the P2, so fat. Scrafty, like I said, I love it. Sylveon. It's a really good meshed up team with the Mega Latias.
Mm-hmm. Okay, guys. With that, I think we can go to our number 2 team. We're getting close. I know this has already been like 2 hours and so. But our number 2 team, we have the Blue Collar Blossoms and Simi Chris. Now, Chris's team, in my opinion, actually looks amazing. It has a lot of synergy to it. It's also very bulky, and he drafted. I think he drafted everything he wanted to. I'm not sure if he ever got sniped at all, but you know, he does have 2 ground types on his team, which I think are the only duplicate typings. You know, he has webs on his team. His Victini melodic Delmise kind of work nicely together, especially since Lopunny on his team is weak to fighting, and Delmise being there kind of helps as well. So I don't know. What do you guys think about Chris's team?
First of all, he's not weak to flying either.
No.
But as me and Eagle ranked it, we put Swampy first. Then it was a battle between Simi and Skyquake. Skyquake, we'll see. The next team is number 1.
Yeah, of course.
Spoiler.
Just
but
process of elimination.
But we, it was a close battle. But at the end, what convinced me and Eagle to put Simi over, like, his walls, his bulk is so good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you break that team, to be honest.
It's hard to break because the thing is that he has Claydol, which you wouldn't expect to like put in a lot of work, but Claydol gets a lot of utility, and its typing in general kind of synergizes very nicely with Registeel, because Because Registeel is weak to ground and fire. Obviously Claydol doesn't resist fire, but it's very bulky and it has the levitate ability, so it's not weak to ground at all. And
I mean,
Also-
I kind of like
all-
the Gligar better with the Registeel.
yeah,
But Claydol also resists fighting too because
yeah, oh yeah, I forgot. Registeel is weak to fighting and Claydol resisted as well. So I do like that. And they both get rocks. So just the fact that he has that core in it by itself to kind of defend against, like kind of support Lopunny, because Lopunny is weak to fighting and fairy and psychic, and Claydol Registeel kind of just covers all that. So
Yeah, because he has the walls, then you have to prep for them, and then you come around, there's a Victini that can hit you, a Zera, Mega Lopunny.
exactly, and his speed
There's a
tiers,
Rabombi that can set up on you.
his speed tiers are also pretty amazing. Like he has Zera Aura obviously, and then Mega Lopunny, and then I think it goes to Nihilego, or no, it goes to Rabombi, doesn't it? It goes to Rabombi, and then it goes to.
Lego can destroy you as well
Well,
if you don't bring coverage for it.
to be fair, his features go Rabombi and then Nihilego, so it goes from 121, I believe, to 103.
Yeah, but that's not the end of the world.
No, of course not. I mean, there is a big gap there, but it's more of a leisurely thing that he has that gap, because after that his speed tiers become very respectable. Like he has a lot of slow mons as well, which actually are very nice. And then he has rocks on things like Gligar and Claydol and Registeel and Nihilego. I think he has all the hazards actually. And then he has spin, which makes it very nice because he can keep the hazards that he has on the opponent's side while he removes the side on the hazards on his. He has Claydol and Delmise that can both spin.
I really like that team.
Yeah.
Don't see it's gonna be hard to break through for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And with him having Claydol as a psychic type, I know I keep talking about it, but it's only because he has Victini as a psychic type as well. It kind of frees up Victini being more offensive in a way, and I understand like defensive Victini is not something you always want to run, but it can be run defensive.
Oh yeah,
I've seen it for sure. And he also has webs with Rabombi, which kind of help if you want to run banded Victini. Just in the early game, running it banded, breaking down anything that kind of walls, something like Chris's Nihilego, because Nihilego doesn't really do too much to a bulky steel or a bulky ground type. Even a bulky water type kind of gives it some trouble, even though it gets Thunderbolt.
Well, it gets Earth Power as well.
Does Nihilego get Earth Power?
Yeah, pretty sure.
I've never. I'm not too sure I've seen that before.
Wait, no, I don't think it's power.
No, it doesn't get Earth Power, but
Oh no, it doesn't.
I
Okay.
think so.
yeah, because that's one of the reasons why I keep thinking like it can't hit steel types that hard. So
That's true. Yeah.
but like again, he doesn't really need it when he has a Victini that's sitting right there, right? So
No, yeah, for sure.
that kind of makes it even better.
Or even a Mega
Lopunny.
Lopunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he does have the offensive pressure that he can put on his opponent, especially when he needs some of the walls to like wall Lopunny and whatnot. But then again, he has like a banded Victini in the back or a banded Zera Aura. It just makes it very hard for the opponent because they're so pressured offensively. And then he has the walls. I just think his team is very balanced, and I think he can do well with it. So.
Yep. And he's got a mon that's really overlooked as well, Umbreon.
Yeah, Umbreon just very
Umbreon,
fat and
oh,
can wish pass.
It's a cleric as well.
It's a cleric, yeah. If he needs a cleric, he's got one.
He obviously has got the melodic.
The melodic being very bulky. it's just he has a lot of bulk and a lot of power. I don't really see anything too.
The only thing that's missing is setup. Like he's got the Ribombi, but other than that, it's not really good setup.
Besides,
but
like,
it doesn't really need it.
Bulk up on Zera and then power up punch on Lopunny. Other than that, like yeah, Delmise gets Swords Dance, but I don't really see.
You'll never see that.
You know, unless you want to, but otherwise, like Quiver Dance for Bombi, you're right. The setup on his team like isn't as apparent, but you know, he might not even need it as much.
No, he doesn't really need it because he has he has power. Good power, good walls.
And then if Hunter was here to tell you, work up Victini is also a thing.
Yeah, good work. He has good hazards, good removers.
Yeah, I just like it. I don't really have too much to say on it. It's just a beautiful draft that he did.
Yep.
Obviously, his fairy type doesn't hit as hard, but the fact that it gets Moonblast is already such a strong move, anyways. So.
Yep. Well, if it sets up the Quiver Dancer too, it's gonna hit hard. All right, have you even seen Ribombi with specs that does a lot of damage?
Yeah, exactly. It's just so fast. It can just run it can run specs if it outspeeds the entire opponent, like the entire team. So.
Yep. That's a very good draft.
With that, I think we actually can move on to our number 1 team, and it's pretty clear who it is now at this point. It is going to be Skyquake and his Lancaster Landers. And it took us about 2.5 hours to get to this point, but we'll talk about Skyquake's team and why it's sitting at number 1. If you look at it right there, he has Tornadus Therian, which is one of the best drafted mons in League play, period. And then he has a very strong wall breaker in Latios. And then he has Tapu Fini and Ferrothorn combined with Arcanine. I just think with Fini, Ferrothorn, and Arcanine together, it's just an amazing Fire Water Grass core that's hard to break, in my opinion.
Fini, and what I like here is the Fini paired with the Mega Latios.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be scared to set up on Mega Latios.
Because a lot of the times, and if you think about it, because yes, Tapu Fini, it's Misty Surge. It does weaken Dragon type moves, but it doesn't weaken Latios's Dragon type moves because Latios is levitating. So, he can still spam his Dracos, his Dragon Pulses, what have you. He can still set up Dragon Dances and Dragon Claw. And his Dragon type moves will not be affected by Mystic Terrain, which is amazing paired with Fini.
And you can't, or can you, because he's levitating, can you status him?
You can status Latios, yes.
Because he's levitating, alright.
Yeah. But
there's also the Terrak you gotta worry about.
Yeah. Latios gets refreshed as well, which makes it very nice. Terrakion, a very nice wall breaker / setup sweeper. Yeah. I do like against fire typing, he has the Mill Tank if he's worried about Ferrothorn being threatened.
Just give me a second, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. So just in my opinion, I think with his team, especially with the hazards that he has, I'm pretty sure he has all of them except for webs. He has Excelgor, which gets double spikes, Nidoqueen, which gets T-spikes and rocks, Ferrothorn, which gets spikes and rocks, Miltank, which gets rocks, Terrakion, which gets rocks. I just think with all that, he might have wanted a ghost type, in my opinion. If he had one of those, then he could block his opponent's spins.
Spin block, yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, I don't think he minds it too much if he gets up hazards. He's very good at keeping hazards up, and if he is fearing hazards going up on his side, he also has like two of the best, in my opinion, hazard removers, being Tornadus, Therian, and Tapu Fini. And he can also remove them with Rotom and Latios if he wants to. And you know, just for good measure, his Dark type isn't that great, being the Liepard, but it does get Prankster. So you know, if he wants to try going a different route, maybe you know, maybe having like Sunny Day or something like that, he can always try that with Liepard. Prankster T-Wave on Liepard is always good as well.
And also people hate on Rotom Frost, but I kind of like that mon too.
Rotom Frost is still a good mon. Like again, its ice typing is probably what makes it separate from the rest. Because it's hard to switch into Thunderbolt and Blizzard together. They're just a very nice combination.
Also, he has the Arcanine to pair with the Ferrothorn, which is very nice.
Yep. Yeah. Again, like the Arcanine intimidates, and if it's being threatened by a water type, he just swaps out to Ferrothorn. Even
Easily,
like ground types don't threaten Ferrothorn too much. And then he just gets up hazards on them. And
well, for ground type, he also has the Megalati, Thorn.
Exactly. And like Finny pretty much is bulky enough to take on anything else. I think he has the bulk he needs. Nidoqueen is a very nice offensive option, but also a very nice defensive option. Things like if he's fearing a Tapu Koko or a fairy type in general, he does have that switch into either Nidoqueen or Ferrothorn, so that Ferrothorn is not always threatened by a fire type move. And like his team isn't even that weak to fire in the first place. He has Arcanine, which can take fire moves, Latios, Terrakion, Miltank. He has Tapu Fini, so he covered Ferrothorn's weaknesses very well, in my opinion.
Even the fighting weakness, I find.
Yeah, the fighting weakness as well.
With the Fini mostly.
Yeah, well, the Tornadus as well, and the Latios. I love Tornadus in draft so much because of the fact that he puts on so much pressure with his strong flying stab that your opponent in most cases will want to swap out, and you can always predict that and just U-turn, and then you suddenly just gain momentum, and Tornadus or knock off, and then Tornadus is just back at full health when he ends up switching out. So
it's just that goddamn hurricane.
If you have to hit those hurricanes, but with open Z move you can always just run Z Hurricane as well. So he has a lot of options there, and then his speed tiers can actually be very nice. He has Excelgor again, and then Tornadus and Latios, Terrakion. I think Liepard actually hits like 105 or something. 106. Yeah. So I think he did a really good job with this draft. It might be too fast, but he has Ferrothorn, which is also like it hits a pretty interesting speed tier, but you're never really.
The only thing I can see is maybe a little weakness to fighting. Now that I really look at it.
I don't know.
Small weakness in fighting.
Like he has it covered with Tornadus, Nidoqueen, Latios.
Tornadus doesn't really want to eat a close combat either. Like,
well, to be fair, Tornadus is more bulkier than you give it credit for. Like it's not as bulky as Tapu Fini, but if it's run defensive, it can be very bulky. So, and the thing is that like even if it doesn't want to eat a close combat, it'll still take that close combat and then just pivot out and then regain all that health back.
Yeah.
So
and Rocky Helmet Thorn T is a thing too.
Yeah, again, Rocky Helmet. It just makes it so that even if you want to touch Tornadus and chip him down, he's still gonna gain health back, and you're gonna lose health. So
yeah, I'm just looking like at Ferrothorn, the Liepard, Terrak, Miltank, Rotom Frost.
You're right. It is there.
It's tiny, but
I like how like the mons that are aren't weak to fighting resist it, except for Arcanine, I think. So, yeah, you're right. Ferrothorn, Liepard, Terrakion, and Miltank and Rotom. But then he has Tapu Fini, Latios, Excelgor.
For sure.
Yeah, so I think he saw that weakness and immediately just said he needs to cover it. So
Yeah, most likely.
yeah, so with that, that's just why we have Skyquick at number 1. His team, it was just drafted amazingly, and I think that's gonna be it, guys. We covered A-League very extensively. And that's just because we had a lot of the coaches in the chat or in the voice call at the same time.
Yeah,
but
I missed my team. Rip.
yeah, you missed your team, but we kind of went over it already.
That's all good.
So, okay, guys, I think we're gonna end this this power rankings for season 4 right here. You know, we went over C and B with our previous videos, and I don't know if we're gonna do another one of these for mid-season, but it is very hard to get everyone into this and have time to record all this, so who knows, but hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you want, you can leave a comment, and yeah, thanks for joining us.